Do you really believe that garbage?
It's not about believing, it's a matter of fact.
So you believe.
Let us be aware that while they preach the supremacy of the state, declare its omnipotence over individual man, and predict its eventual domination of all peoples on the earth, they are the focus of evil in the modern world. It was C.S. Lewis who, in his unforgettable Screwtape letters, wrote, "The greatest evil is not done now in those sordid dens of crime that Dickens loved to paint. It is not even done in concentration camps and labor camps. In those we see its final result. But it is conceived and ordered, moved, seconded, carried, and minuted in clear, carpeted, warmed, and well-lighted offices by quiet men with white collars and cut fingernails and smooth-shaven cheeks who do not need to raise their voice. But because these quiet men do not raise their voices, because they sometimes speak in soothing tones of brotherhood and peace, because like other dictators before them, they're always making their final territorial demand, some would have us accept them at their word and accommodate ourselves to their aggressive impulses. But if history teaches anything, it teaches that simple-minded appeasement or wishful thinking about our adversaries is folly. It means the betrayal of our past, the squandering of our freedom. So I urge you to speak out against those who would place the United States in a position of military and moral inferiority. You know, I've always believed that old Screwtape reserved his best efforts for those of you in the church. So in your discussions of the nuclear freeze proposals, I urge you to beware the temptation of pride, the temptation of blithely declaring yourselves above it all, and label both sides equally at fault, to ignore the facts of history and the aggressive impulses of an evil empire, to simply call the arms race a giant misunderstanding, and thereby remove yourself from the struggle between right and wrong and good and evil.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
You're full of shit.
Alright, thank you.
Now, shush. Shush.
In any country, prison is where society sends its failures. But in this country, society itself is failing.
I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
We won the evangelicals. We won with young. We won with old. We won with highly educated. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
Niggas, you crazy.
Grab him by the pussy.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Shut your mouth, because you don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I did.
Hold it, tough guy. I'm not afraid of physical. Hold it.
Don't sit there and tell me I'm not.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you. You fool me, we can't get fooled again."
They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people. Stand back and stand by with your shut up.
Last thing was Olivia Gondak. It says that I wanted to eat her pussy. Olivia Gondak. I've never said that in my life to her. I would never do that. I'm happily married. I've got more than enough to eat at home. Thank you very much.
You gotta come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Okay. I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible. I went to an Ivy League school, I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words. We now have a gun on every table. We're ready to start shooting.
By the way, maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm, and that would take care of it. This is the same man.
That was said sarcastically.
That was...
Even though they're trying to impeach the son of a bitch. Can you believe that? You believe that? That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
If I may ask
Peter,
one
go
other
ahead.
question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, I was going to ask one other.
I don't want reality. I'm asking the question, which one is better? That's exactly what it is.
Got it on tape.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
I don't like words that hide the truth. I don't like words that conceal reality. I don't like euphemisms or euphemistic language. And American English is loaded with euphemisms because Americans have a lot of trouble dealing with reality. Americans have trouble facing the truth. So they invent a kind of a soft language to protect themselves from it. And it gets worse with every generation. For some reason, it just keeps getting worse.
How stupid are these politicians to allow this to happen?
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Tape Fist Politics. I'm Venkat, and I'm joined with the great MD. What's up, MD?
Peace. What's going on?
All right. So today is Tuesday, September 5th, and we are here for the second episode of Tape Fist Politics. And on this episode, we'll have our lead story dealing with Greg Abbott, the governor from Texas, and we'll just debate and talk about some of his maybe you may say questionable decisions. I guess Mike will be here tonight. I did drop the link in the chat, so Mike, if you hear me. The link is in the chat. Just want to say special shout out to Tequila. Thanks for the support, Tequila. Shout out to Ricardo. Again, the link is in the chat. So, without further ado, let's get right into the lead story. Tonight, like I said, the lead story is going to be Greg Absurd, aka Governor Greg Abbott from the great state of Texas. Let's just get a backstory on the lead story tonight.
Can you give a guarantee that the lights are going to stay on?
I can guarantee the lights will stay on.
No one can guarantee that there won't be a, quote, load shed event. What we will work and strive to achieve and what we're prepared to achieve is that the power is going to stay on across the entire state.
The so-called heat dome over Texas causes temperatures to soar.
Well, it's a good thing that the Republican governor of Texas just signed a law that would get rid of mandated water breaks for construction workers. If you're a construction worker watching this, I get it. It's a heat wave, but you don't actually need water, right? It's not like anyone died of a heat stroke literally days after this law was ratified, right? I mean, let's be realistic.
Texas gave me the opportunity to succeed. Hey, Texas, it's looking like your governor, Greg Abbott, is going to sweep into a third term in office next week.
The Texas economy under Governor Greg Abbott.
He's focusing on immigration and the economy, but there's something these folksy campaign videos don't mention.
Texas getting hit with another blast of winter weather right now.
Leaving more than 3 million in the state without power.
Trapped in their homes in freezing temperatures.
No one knows when electricity will be restored.
The winter storm in 2021. An entirely preventable humanitarian crisis that happened on his watch. Hundreds of Texans died, some in terrible conditions.
That's what defines Greg Abbott and how he governs Texas.
Despite this, victory looks all but certain, and with it, a big blow to political accountability. Sure, the winter storm of 2021 was bad across the United States, but only Texas suffered the days-long blackouts, and only in Texas did hundreds die. And yes, the storm was a freak event, but hardly the first.
Perhaps one of the coldest nights Houston has ever had.
We may have more electricity rationing again tomorrow.
A storm so big, it's difficult to grasp.
Here's what 350 pages of detailed analysis and recommendations looks like. This was published after the last big storm and is full of concrete proposals on how to avoid yet another catastrophe, like forcing power companies to weatherproof their equipment and making sure they can generate extra electricity in extreme cold. Neither Abbott nor his predecessor Rick Perry made those recommendations mandatory, and the private companies that power Texas were free to invest their profits however they chose. When private companies have a choice between investing in expensive precautions or boosting profits, you can guess what happens. What the oil and gas industry did do with their money over the years was donate $26 million to Greg Abbott's campaigns. Fortunately, Texas has two organizations whose job it is to oversee the power grid, and Governor Abbott appoints the leadership himself.
ERCOT board members Mark Carpenter, Lori Kobos, and Deanne Walker all contributed to past Governor Abbott campaigns, pouring in a combined $18,670.
So as temperatures began to plunge in February 2021, despite a 10-year heads up, Texas was more vulnerable than ever.
Here's the deal. We do, as a state, have the ability to ensure that we do not run out of power.
That didn't age well. On Sunday morning, temperatures fell to record-breaking lows.
Winter storms in central Texas are only getting worse as the sun goes down.
And as day turned to night, the Texas power grid was pushed to its limit. And that's exactly when those unregulated and unweatherproofed power stations froze up. One by one, they shut down, and the amount of electricity in the grid plummeted.
Too many people need electricity right now, and there's nowhere near enough to go around. It's that simple.
We do, as a state, have the ability to ensure we do not run out of power.
He was wrong, and you paid the price. While you were scrambling around with a flashlight, Abbott's regulators made one more costly decision. They raised wholesale electricity prices from an average of $25 a megawatt hour to $9,000. Yeah, $9,000 an hour. Making electricity expensive is meant to be a temporary measure to incentivize power stations to keep running, but Abbott's officials would keep this insane price up for almost 5 days. Abbott knew about it and didn't try to stop it. Meanwhile, Texas natural gas suppliers had a chance to profit from skyrocketing prices. And boy, they really cashed in. These companies made hundreds of millions of dollars in unexpected profits. And one company, Energy Transfer, well, let them tell you how much they made.
In total, we now expect to realize approximately $2.4 billion from the storm.
Sean, this shows how the Green New Deal would be a deadly deal for the United States of America.
Later that evening, Greg Abbott was on Fox News trying to score political points off the disaster.
It just shows that fossil fuel is necessary for the state of Texas as well as
Of course, many Texans couldn't watch. They were on their third day with no power. The natural gas companies, they made off with $11 billion in excess profits.
There will be occasions when I'll be talking about like this, and some other occasions when I'll be talking like this.
Governor Abbott's first move after the storm passed, blame the grid operators. Reminder, his appointees oversee them.
Before the storm hit, ERCOT repeatedly assured the state and the public that ERCOT was prepared. Those assurances turned out to be false.
And despite telling you this,
it is outrageous for residents to be saddled with skyrocketing power bills.
Your governor signed legislation securitizing billions in utility company debt. You'll be paying that money back in higher energy bills for a generation. In the weeks after he signed these bills, Abbott received $4.6 million in campaign donations from oil and gas interests. Among them, a $1 million donation from Kelsey Warren, CEO of Energy Transfer. Another oil tycoon, Paul Foster. He's now chairman of the board at ERCOT.
Hi, I'm Todd Staples, treasurer of the Texas Oil and Gas Association Good Government.
Oh, and look, key people in the oil and gas industry even appear in Abbott's campaign videos.
Governor Greg Abbott for re-election.
You can see the pattern, right? Before, during, and after the crisis, Abbott and his cronies put big business before people, and he got his rewards. Despite all of this, Abbott looks set to win a third term. The ballot box is meant to be where politicians are held accountable by voters. Not anymore.
Is that good enough?
Welcome back to our CBS News election headquarters. We're getting breaking news on new race results and want to bring those straight to you. Texas Governor, CBS News predicts Greg Abbott will win re-election as governor of Texas. That means Beto O'Rourke has lost another campaign.
Okay, so that was Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Some of the, I would say, dubious distinctions he's had in the state of Texas. He's done some controversial laws, and he's been through some trying times there. Not really anybody to blame but himself. MD, what did you think about the Governor Greg Abbott, especially on that little piece that we saw?
Yeah, I actually text one of my friends. So back when that happened, that snowstorm happened, I was working for a different company. I actually was down there just a day before the storm hit.
Oh wow!
It was two friends of mine that I was working with at the time actually got stuck in Houston when all of that was going down. They was at the truck stop for I think they were there for 3 days. I think just stuck. And so I could see it personally from what happened with the snowstorm. Now again, just like the article said, and this what made me and you might differ on this. That was an anomaly. I ain't saying that I put full responsibility on Greg Abbott for what happened. Do I think he should have allocated more funds to like trying to get to people? Yeah, I do. Of course. I never take that away. But it was an anomaly all on its own. Going back to my point, you got private oil businesses, that's that oil and electric grid businesses down there that pay to play, so to speak. That's the part I don't agree with. I do believe that as a private business, you got the right to endorse whatever nominee you want to in a campaign. But it shouldn't be the other way around. You shouldn't have to endorse a nominee to get incentives for a private business. That's where me and you will probably agree.
Right.
I got my own sense where Greg Abbott to me has done some things that are good, but for the snow part, yeah, that was pretty bad the way it was handled. So I won't take that away from the mismanagement of what he did during 2021, that snowstorm. That was bad.
So it's not just the snowstorm. He has a whole litany of issues. From the top of the video, they talk about a bill he passed where he doesn't allow construction workers to get a water break, and then eventually that eventually led to the death of a construction worker. That days after the bill passed, which is ridiculous in itself. I mean, my God. And then also it's not really an anomaly because, like the piece showed, in '89 they had a similar type situation, and in 2011. And in 2011, they made all these notations about what to do to prevent one from happening again. And every single recommendation was ignored and not looked upon. So, and they had 10 years to do it. They had 10 years to get to the point where they wouldn't have to deal with that again. And it just seems like that's such an epic blunder that now here comes the part that really gets me going. Because I feel like the politicians, people are too comfortable in blaming politicians for everything. They don't want to get themselves involved in politics because of the politician, and we like to blame politicians. But to me, a politician is no different than a lion in a cage, right? You throw a baby in that cage, and the lion, eats or kills the baby. I'm not blaming the lion. I'm blaming the dumbass that threw the baby in the cage with the lion. And that's the voters. So we're supposed to keep these bastards in check. And clearly that was not happening in Texas. I mean, what does it take? Does he have to knock door to door and stab everybody's mom in the eye to get reprimanded? Because that's some epic failures right there. Epic failures. He makes Trump look like a savant.
Okay.
So I don't know.
I get what you're saying, but if I'm looking at Greg Abbott, then I turn around and I gotta look at Beto O'Rourke. Just from that perspective, I'm probably gonna go Greg Abbott every time. Just being honest.
Between the two?
Yeah.
So is there anything in particular that turns you off about Beto O'Rourke?
Yeah, open border of a border state.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one for me.
Mm-hmm.
I can only imagine what condition Texas would be in had Beto O'Rourke won that last election. I can only imagine. Texas of all places.
Yeah. So you're okay with all these things that have happened under his leadership? 3 terms worth of it.
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
But that goes back to the whole and I don't play that lesser two evil game. I don't do that.
Right.
But if we gonna play that game, if we talking about just the well-being economically of Texans, Greg Abbott is in a better position to at least even if it's a fraction, maintain the economic stability of Texans rather than Beto O'Rourke. That's just my opinion.
Right.
That's just my opinion. And going back to that water. Now again, I don't agree. See, and it goes back to the way I think. Right. I don't think government has the right to enforce anything from the private sector. That water break ban being one of them. Greg Abbott shouldn't have the right to do something like that from a private collective. Nor should the private collective have a right to enforce anything legislatively on the rest of the people. So it's one of those front door, back door situations where I don't believe Greg Abbott should have had the right to enforce who can drink some water and get into some shade from a privately owned business.
I've never heard of such a thing before. It's crazy.
Now, if I was to put my tinfoil hat on, I believe he did that based on illegal immigration. That's I can't prove none of that. But I believe.
So his hate and racism is stronger than the need to protect the citizens of his state.
Well, I think it was him saying that these people from E-Verify can't be E-Verified, so why should I? So why should they have right? And like I said, I ain't saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm just telling you like what I think.
I get it. I get what you're saying.
These people can't be verified to have the right to work in the United States. So why should they have any right If they gonna work them to death. You know, I mean, I ain't trying. You know, I'm just being honest.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that was part, and knowing Greg Abbott and a lot of the legislation that he's passed, or a lot of the things that he's done, he has a track record for doing that to illegal immigrants.
Right, because we all know about the stunt where he flew people over to Martha's Vineyard and other Democratic areas, and that all that did was, you know, just have like little kids, older people, just without, they didn't even know they were going anywhere, and they have no food, no nothing, and they're just being sent to a random place, just shipping out illegal immigrants or whatever. But he did that big stunt, and then of course Ron DeSantis followed the suit. And a lot of stuff that Ron DeSantis did came after Greg Abbott in Texas did something, then Ron DeSantis would then in kind do something as well, which is crazy to me. Yeah,
well, that lets you know that Ron DeSantis ain't got a brain of his own. So
no, not at all. A lot of this
not
stuff
even a conservative brain.
Nah, he's reactionary politics and definitely just trying to, you know, ruffle feathers and tap into a base because they like that type of stuff. But yeah, that stuff is not leadership. That stuff is not, you know, making the country better. It's just, you're just playing a role.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So, you know, Greg Abbott, I don't know where he's at as far as his term. I don't know how much longer he has, and I'm not sure if he's going to run yet again. I mean, they got to put limits on these terms, man, because first of all, he's in a wheelchair. I don't even know why he's in a wheelchair, but I don't know what happened to him, but he's in a freaking wheelchair. And I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, his
I
brain
think that's a
is.
Texas thing, man.
That's a what?
Not. Go ahead. I said I think that's a Texas thing because I'm talking about the terms, because you can't have a lot of states. You can't have no 3 terms as governor in a lot of states. I think that's a Texas thing.
Weird. Yeah, and the going back to the grid. So Texas is the only state in the United States that says we don't need help from the government. We're going to do it on our own. And then they failed. And the people in Texas suffered majorly. You know, could you imagine? I mean, people go crazy here when a hurricane hits in Florida and you go a day without the fan, without power. People go crazy.
Oh, yeah.
They in Texas, they were in freezing cold, man, under 40 degrees. You know, people died. Hundreds of people died. It's just amazing to me. So here you have a guy that clearly was inept, incompetent at best, and the electorate in Texas did not reprimand him and didn't make him accountable. And it's just amazing. And we see this theme a lot. Voters voting against their own self-interests. Like, I don't care, man. Like, if a Democrat would have done that, even though I vote Democrat, I would vote against the Democrat for sure. I mean, there's no way you can let that slide. But I mean, that's me. I guess I think differently. I guess I don't know.
I get what you're saying, but I give you pushback on this.
Okay.
Had that same situation happen in South Florida.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're dealing with anomalies here. Had that same situation happened in South Florida, you would have probably had the same result. Being that because of the location, that particular electrical grid wasn't sufficient enough to handle that deep of a freeze. I'm not going to put that on Greg Abbott. What I will put on Greg Abbott is the response. I totally understand that part. The response when it comes to the humanitarian effort.
But you're saying, but you're looking past the, like I said, 10 plus years of knowing this needs to be done, that needs to be done. And not Greg Abbott or his predecessor, Rick Perry. Neither one touched the subject. It's similar to, just before COVID hit, all these Republican states, they slashed taxes all over the place. So now the states got less revenue coming in because the tax rate is lower. And as a result, they weren't able to raise enough revenue to have money for a response effort if something were to happen. And then you look at a few years, a year or so later, and COVID hit. And they had nothing that they could do. They didn't have a way to go from there. So it's like the same scenario. They knew for over 10 years these things need to be addressed. And then the disaster happened. And they crapped the bed when it happened. And like you said, the response was lackluster at best.
Right. And I don't give a pass with Greg Abbott on that. But again, ERCOT is I believe it's an employee-owned company. I could be wrong because I remember following this when it happened. As a private business, again, it's not the government's responsibility to make sure that that's maintained to the point where it can handle that situation. If that was to happen, this catastrophic event, and you get put in a position where your infrastructure fails, that's on the company. That's not on the government. That's when you have other industries, which Texas has, and it said in the story that they had to man the board with all the different electrical grid companies to come together. That's not the responsibility of the government. If one electrical distribution fails, that's when another steps in and is able to take that profit. Now, to the point of what you're saying, it took them 10 years to try to make something happen, and they didn't do it based on the response effort. That's where I don't give Greg Abbott a pass. But as far as the infrastructure, that should not be on. If you're a multi-billion-dollar company, it's not the government's responsibility to maintain that infrastructure. So I get where maybe it should have been more streamlined in order to even if it's a 1% or a 0.5% chance that something would happen. Again, it's not the government's responsibility to take care of that. That's where I think ERCOT should not even be in business right now.
And what about the fact that Greg Abbott appointed the leadership of ERCOT and the other companies?
Based on the contribution of the companies, and that's when I was talking about pay to play. That shouldn't take place. Now again, right. I can't make a company not contribute to a campaign based on the wants and the needs legislatively. But
that's shady stuff, man.
Yeah, you shouldn't be like appointing no board members based on contribution. Yeah, that's pay to play, and I don't go by that.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Yeah. So before we get into the next segment here, I just want to take a quick look here at the Republican candidates at the moment. Take a look at the poll numbers real quick. So here we got a poll conducted about mid-August. So here we go right there. And that shows the standing about the mid-August point. So you got Trump at 62% at that particular time. 16% is Ron DeSantis. And then it just trails down into the single digits at that point. Hold on, let me get that out the way here. So yeah, you could see that there's a lot of minuscule numbers, pretty much outside of DeSantis and Trump. If it was me, if I was a Republican and I had to pick from this pool, I would definitely pick Chris Christie. I think that's the best option on that screen right there. I think. What do you think, MD?
Again, like I said last week, man, Nikki Haley impressed me a lot on a lot of the stuff that she was saying. if Trump wasn't in this, I would definitely go right as of right now, Nikki Haley, with Pence probably being a second and then Christie being a third. It's sad that and I call this the reverse Obama syndrome is what I call it. It's
what
sad,
do you mean by that, MD?
Because man, again, when I voted for Obama the first time, I voted for Obama strictly on popularity. I ain't gonna lie. Right. You know what I'm saying? I ain't give a damn about no policy. I didn't care about none. All I saw was a black person,
right,
possibly being president of the United States. I think this is the reverse outcome of that situation. You got a person that's quote unquote fighting the establishment, the quote unquote common man. At the end of the day, white Christian identity is highly identified through Trump, even though he probably ain't nowhere near religious as people think that he is. Matter of fact, I know that.
Right.
But because we were playing popularity contests at this point, it ain't got nothing to do with legislative outcomes. It ain't got nothing to do with track records.
It have nothing to do with the substance of their character. It doesn't have to do with their character. No, not at all.
So these numbers show that. There's no way you could tell me, even though Mike Pence is a GOP shield at the end of the day, I ain't gonna, I know that. There's no way you could tell me Mike Pence got 5% of the vote right now when he's probably the most qualified person that's running on the Republican side. I just can't believe it. But that lets you know. Again, I said this. I believe it's 75. It may be close to 80% of the people that's voting for Trump right now have no idea what's going on. They just look at a person that they think is fighting their fight. But hey, it is what it is.
So MD, would it be fair to say that the Republican Party is a less informed part of the electorate?
I won't say that either because I don't put all of that on the Republican Party. I put that on MAGA for sure.
MAGA.
But people are so burned out from old school GOP politics that it's giving a lane for Trump to be 62% up in the poll. You know what I mean? And that's the issue. That's the issue that the GOP gonna have to face at some point in time. Even though I look at Pence being the more qualified of all these, Pence is an old GOP fart at the end of the day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
So some people would argue that DeSantis is the future when it comes to GOP politics. Even though
he's one of the youngest on there. I don't know if that Rams, whatever his name.
Yeah,
is,
I think Vivek is the young. Vivek is he's my age. He's 38.
Oh really? Okay. So
yeah. So Vivek is the youngest.
Is like 40, 41, right?
Yeah. He's young. He's low 40, something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it goes down to the RNC, the Republicans, not having a strong contender that can go against Trump. That's just what it comes down to. Hell, even when you look at Vivek, at the end of the day, and it's hard for me to say this, I think Vivek is actually pandering to Trump to be his VP. And go back and watch it. He paired in everything Trump say, like everything.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I think Vivek got a stronger chance. Well, DeSantis ain't being, Trump don't like DeSantis, so he can kill that. Vivek might be actually pandering to be Trump's VP. So I can't really put Vivek in that whole GOP scenario because I think he's just there for fluffs at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Right.
But when you talk about people like Mike Pence, Nikki Haley, even Chris Christie to a certain extent, these are the people that are looked at as the preeminent identifiers when it comes to the Republicans. And I think that's ultimately the issue because they're not showing the same viewpoints as Trump when it comes to domestic legislation, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay, so let's go back in time. Let's go back to 2016. Let's see how the race back in 2016 of February, where that standing was at. So back then, you see that Ted Cruz was actually leading. And oh my God, Marco Rubio, really? Now to me,
Yeah, remember him?
yeah. To me, the most qualified, best person on this list would be John Kasich. I think he's the most logical one up there. Ben Carson is a complete nut job. I don't even know why he was even there. Yeah, it's just bad, man. It's really bad. But it's just crazy to see that. There was a point when Ted Cruz, as crazy as that sound, Ted Cruz was very competitive at one point. One of the most hated politicians out right now. Oh Lord. So if we flash forward, the most recent poll I could find, which is towards the end of August, and now we see here Ron DeSantis continues to drop. Now he's down to 14. I think the lowest that I've seen him is 13%. And Trump continues to maintain, his upper number. So, and again, not much underneath Ron DeSantis, or at least under Vivek, whatever his name is. Not much under that is competitive. I mean, my God, there's some people at 0%, for God's sake. So it's very
the
clear.
person that I really like is not even on this list, which is Perry Johnson. He's not even on the list.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, you got Will Hurd. Will Hurd was another guy that wasn't afraid to say, "Hey, look, the only reason that Trump is running is because he want to pardon himself after he go to jail."
Of course. But the only problem with that. Yeah, but the only problem with that, though, is that the Georgia case is a state case. You can't pardon that one.
Yeah.
So that's going to stick. That's going to leave a mark. So, So another interesting thing, we'll put up a graphic here of why voting for Trump, why these voters voting for Trump. So these are different reasoning on why they're voting for Trump. So 75% say he actually won the 2020 election. Now
that goes to my point. That's what I just said. It goes to my
illogical.
People don't even understand. People are looking at this as an underdog story when it's not that. You know what I mean? It's not that, and that's why I said this says 75. I will say 80%. 80% of the people that's voting for Donald Trump is not basing it on anything legislative. That's my opinion.
Right. Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that. I gotta agree. From what we're seeing, I mean, it's screaming that. Oh my God, 65% show support for legal fights. Now, why is a guy that's a self-proclaimed billionaire needing people to give him hand-me-outs? I don't get that. If you're a billionaire, you should be able to handle that no problem. I mean, every week he's pandering for cash. Might as well go panhandling down the street right down there. I mean, my goodness. 64%, I like him personally. So again, we didn't get into anything about any kind of policy. So far, none of this is talking about a policy, an idea, some sort of initiative. There's nothing of that. No substantive moves are being made at all. And then the petty party is coming out here. 51%. He makes liberals angry. Wow. Wow. We're putting the nuclear codes on the line so that he can make liberals angry. Wow. I don't know, man.
And like I said, that goes to show you what type of base Trump has. And like I said, with me being an independent voter, as the weeks go on, like I'm feeling less and less about Trump. I can admit it, based on these situations, these Gallup polls, these Emerson polls, they're not telling me the full story of why other people are voting the way that they vote. And it's disassociating my vote because it makes my vote seem meaningless because I'm not doing to get along with the MAGA group. So as the weeks go on, I'm lessening my interest in voting for Trump. I can admit that. But now the question is going to be, who am I going to look to, either on the Democratic side or the Republican side, as to where I need to hitch my horse to? I don't know. You know what I mean? Because this stuff is disparaging at the end of the day.
It is. It's deflating. Oh my God. It's what from both sides, and I hate to say that, but the Democratic Party isn't doing the greatest right now. I mean, technically, Joe Biden has accomplished certain things historically in this presidency, and I get that, but it's nowhere near what he could have done or should be doing. And I think that's discouraging, especially when he got in 2020 the most votes in the history of voting. Right. No man has been voted for as much as Joe Biden. It's crazy.
Except for Donald Trump, and he don't want to accept that. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, what more do you want? You just participated in the most historic election in the history of America. More people voted this time than any other time throughout the annals of history. And you want to say the election was stolen?
Right.
I that part I don't get. I don't get it. And on top of that, going back to the Democrats, it's disparaging on that end because you don't even feel confident enough in the nominees that you have on that primary side to even hold a debate.
Right.
How do I supposed to know what's going on with what? How do I supposed to see who's challenging who as far as the legislative outlook? You're not even giving me a debate. So that's why it's hard for me to accept anything from Democrats, because y'all have pretty much said, hey, look, Biden is the ruler, and we gonna put everything behind Biden, and the hell with the rest of the nominee. I can't go for that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue what you're saying there. And it's troubling and it's frustrating, extremely frustrating. Yeah, so Trump, he just continues to. That's a discouraging thing for me, because if you're getting indicted and going to jail and all this nonsense, and to be 62% in that party, that's a notorious stat to have there. All right,
yeah,
so
it's code of personality, man. I can't go for it. There's no reason for it to be 62% in the polls, and he didn't even participate in any debate. We don't know what's going on. The same spiel every speech, the same thing. Like, yeah, man, I can't do that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. All right, so now we're at the part of the show where we're gonna address the lame duck of the week. Putting a spotlight on the Trashbag Humans. So let's get ready for the lame duck session. Give me 1 second here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
You're trying your best, but it never feels like enough.
I started having second thoughts almost the moment I sat down on the plane.
Lights off! Off! Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off. Turn them off. Let's go. Ready? Turn
We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway.
So I changed my return flight and flew back on the first available flight I could take.
I'm sick and tired of smart guys. I'm sick and tired of ordinary people being fleeced. I'm tired of being quiet. I'm sick and tired. I'm just sick and tired. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
great responsibility.
All right, this week's lame duck, it's going to be Mitch McConnell, looking all ducky in that photo right there. Bitch McConnell has been terrorizing the Senate for decades. So it's only right that we give him the proper props that he deserves. So recently he's had some episodes. So let's take a look at some video on Bitch McConnell, and we'll be back.
I was shocked that former President Obama left so many vacancies and didn't try to fill those positions.
I'll tell you why. I was in charge of of what we did the last 2 years of the Obama administration.
I will give you full credit for that.
I think it's safe to say there will not be hearings or votes. I think it is also safe to say the next president, whoever that may be, is going to be the person who chooses the next Supreme Court justice. Finishing the NDA this week has been good bipartisan cooperation and a string of
Okay, Mitch? Anything else you want to say, or should we just go back to your office? Do you want to say anything else to the press? Go back.
Go ahead, John.
I'll take it. Let's go back to you.
Go ahead, John.
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026.
That's
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026? All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator.
The United States Congress has never been older than it is right now. Even though half of the country is under the age of 38, only about 5% of Congress is. The average age of a U.S. representative is 58 years old. The average age of a U.S. senator is 64. Sure, most people know that Joe Biden, at 80 years old, is the oldest president in American history. But what they don't know is that there are currently 14 members of Congress older than him. For comparison, the average age of the delegates at the Constitutional Convention was just 42.
All right. So Mitch McConnell, at this point, he's what, 80? I think he's 81 or something like that. It's like,
yeah. I think it's a couple years older than Biden, yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy. Just crazy. And very similar to Greg Abbott, where you have a guy that's just constantly getting reelected. Now, let's take a look. Let's just think about where he's being elected from. Bitch McConnell is from West Virginia, right? It's from
Kentucky.
West Virginia. Oh, I'm sorry, Kentucky. Right. Yeah.
Hell,
So,
we'll say the same thing.
Exactly, because they're always ranked near the bottom in as far as poverty. So, yeah, they're always right to the bottom. So how can a guy consistently just keep getting reelected decade after decade after decade? And you look at the state he represents, and there is no progress. But for whatever reason, he keeps winning because he has the money in his pocket and the backing of the corporations. So what do we think about Mitch McConnell, MD?
Man, the turtle will never die, man. Like, Some turtles can live 200 years old, man. He'll be there. We'll be gone. He'll still be in Congress, man. Like, it is what it is. But I mean, yeah, man, it goes back to the point where I said, like, the GOP, like we was talking about Vivek, the GOP is old school, conservative, and because the demographics are changing, they don't want the legislative outlook to change. Therefore, you continue to keep these old turtles in on the House floor, on the Senate floor, to keep that sense of conservatism afloat within the Republican Party. You got to let it go at some point in time. You just got to do it. Now, Mitch McConnell, he has put in some bills that I like. He put in the new updated Reciprocity Act for I like that. But that's something that conservatives just do. I don't need to have Mitch McConnell to present that bill in order for that to take effect. If you stand on your conservative principle, quote unquote, and you are the true party of Lincoln, then that stuff should come with you or without. I mean, I don't understand where the position lies when it comes to a person like Mitch McConnell with politics in 2023. And that's why MAGA is taking such a root within the Republican Party, because of people like Mitch McConnell. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's no fault of the people. The people just want to see an updated version. I'm not saying that you're not putting in conservative legislation, but I'm saying that we don't need you to do that. That's we don't. And you make yourselves look like a fool when you try to go against what the demographics say is the new beginning of the Republican Party, which is MAGA. Now, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying, hey, like, let some of the young G's take effect, man, and they can do the same thing that you're doing. Like right now, you just look like more of an idiot doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I mean, what's troubling for me is, how is this older guy from another time with another mentality going to be appropriate to passing bills that affect the people of the now, of today? How is he going to be able to understand, relate with the plight and the current atmosphere that we're living in right now? And I think that's why we desperately need to get older people should not. How you going to collect Social Security, but you can be in the Congress or the Senate or even the presidency? I'm pissed off about the Supreme Court having old ass geezers that can be a lifetime appointment. I don't think that's right either.
Yeah. I don't know. See, I'm not for changing any amendments in the Constitution, but like a lot of this life term stuff, I can't, like, it's not plausible. Not at this point.
Right.
You know what I mean? Supreme Court, any House seat, like I can't. I don't see how that's plausible for if you're looking to forward legislation, but you're keeping the same old head. I don't see how you can progress, lack of a better term, any piece of legislation with old head, and especially when they're being ran by lobbyist groups and promising subsidies to companies. Like it's never going to go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's never going to go anywhere. And that's on the other side too, with people like Dianne Feinstein. Like it's not going to happen.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Very true. Very, very great point there. Oh my God. I mean, it's plaguing on both ends of the court, and I can't stand it. I can't stand it, man. And this is why, if people were more in tune to politics, understanding the players involved, understanding the circumstances and the stakes, it's like watching a football game and you don't have a scoreboard. So nobody really gets the gravity of what the hell's going on. You may think it's the first quarter, but it's like 10 seconds left in the game. And this is what's happening. We don't have enough people understanding how vital things are. So then when Roe versus Wade gets overturned, all these people come out the woodwork like, oh my God, what happened? Are you serious? Mitch McConnell, once he made that move, we knew that was going to happen. You knew that that's what they were going to do. So I just don't get it. Just don't get it.
And to your point, Ricardo said, but when did the Tea Party supporters turn into MAGA? Well, when Trump ran, that's when they turned into MAGA. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's
So,
exactly what it is.
Right. Again, since 2008, the Republicans have been in a defensive position, even with Trump winning the presidency. Since 2008, the Republican Party has been in a state of defense when it comes to trying to uphold a sense of conservatism. Now, again, I don't consider myself conservative. Not from a moral aspect, I don't. But the demographics show that people don't care about that stuff no more anyway. So it's up to these old heads like Mitch McConnell to try to lift and Mike Pence and the lot to try to uplift that old conservative aspect of politics and keep it afloat. I don't think they got enough firepower to do it. That's just what it is. And people think that Trump is going to be that champion. I'm telling you, he's not at all. Hell, I could go up to the church and hold a Bible in my hand and take a couple of pictures. I can do that. You know what I mean?
Hey, MD, who's Sir Others?
That's Mike, I think.
Is it Mike?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Why did he? Oh my God! I just got it. I didn't. Mike, man, why did he do that? I didn't even realize it. Now I get it. Oh, so Sir Others. I'm like, who is that? Because there was no picture. There was nothing. So, oh boy, yep, it's Mike. Ricardo confirmed it. Oh my God, Mike, if you're listening, man, come on up, man. We gotta have you on here, Mike. Yeah.
yeah. I saw the comment in the back chat. I think he's going to leave.
I'm just now seeing that right now. Oh my God, Mike, man, come on, Mike. Oh,
yeah. He trolled with the Sir Others. I'm like, man, bring your ass up here, man. Stop playing.
Oh my God. All right, so at this point now, we're going to go into the State of the Union. This is a segment where, we just look into the current state of the United States as far as like issues that are very important and really needs to be talked about. So last week we talked about inflation. This week we're looking into the economy, which goes hand in hand. Let's take a look at a little short video here, and we'll be back.
Hey, I have a question. How are we affording life right now?
I have come to the realization that they just not paying nobody.
The government literally announces that aliens exist and nobody is phased.
That is literally because nobody is getting paid enough to care to come here. At this point, we're tired of living through historical events like every other week, right? Rent too high, groceries too expensive, gas way too pricey, right? It is like the fourth day in a row where it's been 110 degrees. The alien thing is like on the back of the list.
I get up every morning at 4:30. I get here, my shift starts at 7 in the morning. I work from 7 to 4. Leave for the day. Take me about 45 minutes to an hour to get home because of traffic. I do this every fucking day for 5 days a week just to get a damn paycheck that leaves as soon as it hits my account. All this to say, I got a job. Don't get me wrong. My dude, he works. Sometimes 12-hour days. He come home, he hurting, he sore, he tired. I'm hurting. I'm mentally tired from dealing with people all damn day and their attitudes. Y'all, I am stressed the out. And what's crazy is that this paycheck barely even helps. Barely.
So how much more is going to happen for all of us to decide collectively to just start striking? Like, what else is going to happen before we all get together and decide we not taking it no more? Because I'm waiting for everybody to decide to quit their jobs. They can't punish all of us. They're going to have to do something. If we all just stop working, we all stop paying rent, they can't put everybody out. So when is enough? Tell me. Because I've been ready to quit. Okay? I'm ready whenever y'all are. The current state of the world, it can't be sustained like this for too much longer. It's not possible. The rioting, the striking, the hottest summer ever, the sea animals are revolting, the aliens, it's the series finale, guys. It's about to be done anyways. We might as well go out with a bang and quit paying all this rent and do some traveling, see some sights that we ain't never seen before.
Back in 2015, this cart of food cost $139.76. This cart of food costs $171.26. Jason, my buddy, Jason, he just did the math on that, and that's...
Tried to in here.
Tell us, what was it?
It was about 23%.
23% food increase.
Yeah.
Is that a lot? Is that significant? I think it's pretty significant.
I didn't get a 23% increase in pay. No need to raise my prices.
In the last 8 years?
Yeah. No.
I am so tired of feeling helpless as a parent. Yes, my kids are grown adults. My oldest is 28, my youngest is 25. And I thought by teaching them what I learned, which is you work hard, you get a good job, you're going to get the things in life that you need, right? Worked for me, why wouldn't it work for them? Because it doesn't. Because the world has fucking changed, all right? And now I feel like I see them struggling. And before my generation comes at me, yes, I understand struggling is a part of life. We all struggled. But there's a difference between struggling and drowning. When I was their age, I was making less than $10 an hour. And I could afford to live on my own. Now you have to be making 6-figure salary to get a decent, tiny little place to live. So what the fuck is going on, and how do we help them as parents? I told my son, all you have to do is work hard, go to college, or join the military like I did. He went to college, got his degree, got a full-time job. Why are one-bedroom studio apartments almost $2,000 a month? Why? Like, I just don't get it. So I don't even think that there's even classes anymore. There used to be upper class, middle class, lower class. It's literally turning into the ultra wealthy, and then everybody else is just poor. Like, that's what is happening. And then I told him, hey, when you turn 25, at least your car insurance will go down. Hell no, he turned 25 and his car insurance went up $150.
And honestly, it's only going to get worse. If something isn't done about these corporations and their price gouging and calling it inflation, things are just literally going to continue to get worse.
Writers, actors, UPS workers, everybody going on strike, and I love to see it. Do you know why? Because labor strikes are the best example that we have of the fact that this country is built off of slavery. And if you never thought about it that way before, it's okay, it's not your fault. In 1860, enslaved people in the United States produced 2 billion pounds of cotton. Billion with a B. Remember, by 1860, there were 4 million enslaved people in the United States. That's more people working for free than are currently working for Walmart, Amazon, and McDonald's combined. And the inhumane conditions in which you are expected to work right now are because of that. We are not taught about the first labor strikes in this country. Indigenous people just refusing to work as slaves or in exchange for unfair treaty agreements, because they had the advantage of knowing how to survive in the climate and terrain of North America. You're not taught about the enslaved people who burned crops, who purposefully worked slower, who broke machines, who ran away into the forest, not permanently, but just long enough to stop production on the plantation, or the ones who just walked away to join the Union Army. This country, in its current form, can only survive if as many people as possible are working themselves to the bone in bare minimum conditions for as close to free as possible. So yeah, don't cross the picket line. Keep striking. Strike, strike, strike. I love it.
All right. So we got some additions to the panel. We got Ricardo, and we got Sir Others.
Yeah.
So, everyone, what do we think? Views and opinions about the video we just saw, and the state of the economy.
I purposefully believe that you waited to now to add me so I could give this viewpoint.
Yeah.
Everyone that has ever heard me talk knows what I believe the problem in this country is. It's white supremacy. Now, let me tell you how it works here. White people who were not of the elite class thought ever since the Bacon's Rebellion back in the day when they invented the white middle class and said, hey, you guys are better than those Negroes. They kept propping up this propagandized nation of hey, look at us, we're that. And they became what the GOP is today. They stood by and allowed their elites, and when I say elite, I just mean wealthy. I don't mean elite morally. I don't mean elite personally. They're just wealthier. That's it. And usually by criminals in the past of their families, or illegal things, or murderers, or drug dealers, or whatever their people did in the past, what they just tend to benefit from. That's like, a lot of people like to glorify these rich families. They're just criminals who didn't go to jail. That's all it is. And they stood by as these criminals made laws, made legislation, made rules, made judgments that made them more and more wealthy, and then told them, hey, don't worry, you're white. You'll be the first one to get the benefits of us getting rich. Later on in life, they call that the trickle down. It never really works, but it sounds really good. And then these people just kept standing up saying, hey, we're white, we're better. At least we're not those darkies down there. So we'll end up always on top. And then they started trading the thought or the promise of making some money with being treated better in society. They traded the thought, because whenever it was, hey, we're giving out land, you know who got it first. We're giving out subsidies, you know who got it first. Hey, we're giving out places so you can build farms. You know who got it first? Those poor whites. So you guys can try to build some wealth for yourself. And when they saw there was no more they could drain out of the American jurisprudence teat, they started saying, hey, cops won't beat you. You're not those Negroes. We'll keep those Negroes in check. No matter what, you'll be able to walk your city streets safe. And they traded it, and these elites kept on making and I'm sorry, MD, they kept making the free market less free as much as they could. They kept bending the rules. They kept benefiting themselves. They kept sucking America dry, while the majority of the population, which is poor white people, stood by and allowed it, nay, pushed for it. We watched in the 80s as they stood by and watched these people, these criminal bastards, suck every life blood drop penny that they could out of the system. Then they watched that. Then they fought as other criminals who were white still, but were Democrats, tried to come in and spread that wealth around. They were like, hey, don't give those darkies money. We need the money to keep going up to the top where we're the first one to get peed on. We're the first one to get the trickle. We don't give it to them. They don't need social. So what do they need money? If they need money, they'll work harder. We work hard. Not even looking at the point that no matter how hard you work, if everything's costs go up and you don't get that equivalency in your paycheck, you're never going to survive. And then they looked at others and said, ugh, look at these filthy subhumans. They're out here selling drugs and selling crack and ruining their community because they won't work hard. All the while their kids were selling meth and ruining their community, even though they worked hard. But it's different. See, it's different when Johnny does it. Johnny's just had a hard time and he got laid off from the factory. Raheem didn't want to go to school. He probably talked a lot in class. So he wanted to sell drugs since he was 5, so he belongs in jail. You see what I'm saying? This is I'm telling you all, you people act like they can't see it. White supremacy has destroyed this whole world, and it's going to continue. And that wonderful lady in the I think it was close to the last video was telling us striking is the only power we have, withholding our labor, withholding our money. But sadly, we live in America. We live in the country where people will step on your child to become middle management. They will step on your kid and your dog at the same time just to become middle management, to look somewhat closely related to that middle class white. And don't let them be middle class white. They'll step on your kid and dog with the same foot just to be upper middle class white. Oh, that's the place when you can afford to move away from these jungle bunnies and live in your own separate little place with just other upper middle whites around you. Nobody told them that upper middle white becomes middle class when the uppers just keep going up and you don't get up, you don't get any more money. And that's what's happening now. Just like it always does in society, the second middle class white people start to realize what's happening, that's when they want to join up with everyone. I tell my black women, stop linking up with these white women, because before they realized they were marginalized, they treated you like garbage. Before they realized, oh man, I'm a minority too, they spit on you and raped their black men. The second they realize, hold up, these white men are able to do it. Excuse me?
You said rape the black man.
Oh, you think they didn't? You think in slavery they wasn't taking them cookies? They were taking black man Jimmy. Trust me.
Yep.
Trust me. I've read books on it. They was like, hey, master going to town for 2 weeks. Get your nigga ass. Oh, Lord, don't get me started. Get up here and pleasure me. Pleasure me. And then spit in your face and now get back down to the fields. Please believe they was getting it in. And
I can't say it any better, Mike. Yeah, the whole white supremacy thing, you're dead on that. Ricardo, what do you think about the subject matter?
Basically, Mike just sum up everything that I said that I wanted to say in sentimental. He phrased everything perfectly well. I have a cold, so I kind of sound hoarse. So that's why I wasn't on earlier. But Mike pretty much summed up everything that I wanted to say. That's pretty much there. And not only that, I wanted to also add that at the same length and breath, what you're seeing is that everybody's complaining, but they're like the white people themselves are like, oh wait, the black people are suffering too. So wait, why like is everybody in the same boat? Yeah, we're all in the same boat here. The question is why, and what are we going to do about it? So we don't have an election year coming up, so how do we solve the issue going forward? That's my main problem here, because inflation is one thing, but then you're shrinking products and then you're telling me it's the same product. So where's the disconnect here? Something is not adding up at all, and we're not
Game. That's a dirty game.
And we're not getting any stimulus checks. So then, one side's going to complain while the other side is like, but why do you need a stimulus check? The Bush boosted the economy on one hand because he was like, well, we had to do something about it. We got to take charge. And then now it's like, oh, no, you guys will be fine. We'll make it through. We're super troopers. America, it will be strong again. You got to find some kind of accord here, because once gas start going up, which it hasn't, I'm surprised this summer, you have airfare is going to go up now because everybody wants to travel. Then you have the cars are going to go, the car price is going to go up. And like there's a whole bunch of stuff that's gonna. Then winter is coming around. So then what are we gonna do about what we're seeing here? That's my question of the day. Is what are we gonna do? And then you have to add in globalization in all of this too. Where does that stand when other countries are going through the same thing America is going through? So that's the other question I had as well.
Yeah, I figure. I mean, I'll say this, and we talked a little bit about this last week. Again, inflation, as we see it today, it's a myth because we know what inflation means. Inflation is a whole lot of money, not a lot of product. That's not what's going on here. These companies are getting money from the government that's offsetting the production, and they're raising the prices because they can. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. Now, I agree to Mike's point. Striking is the solution. But where me and him may differ is I don't think striking got to be something that's organizational. Like we can do that. Hell, I can strike right now. You know what I mean? Now, yeah, it's more numbers. Go ahead.
But MD, your strike won't be as potent without.
I was just about to mention that again. Like I said, when I say organizational, I'm not talking about mass of people. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm organizational meaning that you're making me strike because I'm part of an organization. That part I don't agree with. Again, we have to go with voluntary means of not doing shit, if that makes sense. From the aspect of what a true free market looks like, going back to Mike's point again, I never said that free market capitalism exists in this country. It don't. But I understand how it works, and I understand what needs to be done legislatively to do it. We some type of way to your answer, Ricardo, we got to figure out from the bottom up how to get these companies off these teats of these government officials. How that's going to be done, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what I mean?
It can never happen. They have the lobbies, man. As long as the lobbies keep giving money and money keeps being what it is in this country, it'll never stop. It's a vicious cycle. Hold up, you got 100,000 for me? Appreciate it. I'll do whatever you want. Hold up, you'll do whatever I want for 100,000. I happen to have 100,000. Here you go. As long as that cycle keeps going, it'll never stop.
Exactly.
I agree with you, but you know, again, when we talking about consumerism in the country, how much are we willing to sacrifice to take away power from the companies? That's another question. You know what I mean? Like I ain't necessarily gotta. I'm playing Starfield right now. I ain't gotta be playing Starfield if I want to. You know what I mean? But I want to play the game. So
I'm about to play that my damn self. I ain't mad at you, bro.
so again, it's how passionate we as the consumer, we as the employee are with the position that we are in the society. That's what it's going to come down to at the end of the day.
But see,
hell, it might have to be Mad Max.
This is what
it might have to be that.
Hilarious. But this is what I was telling you last week, why it needs to be a concerted effort, because if we all say right now, we all decided to strike, what do you think their next move would be? They would hire all people from South America. It needs to be a concerted. Look what they did when they were like, hey, we have to raise the minimum wage. They said, okay, we'll get computers to do it. They immediately unveiled all these computers, all these kiosks at McDonald's. I ain't know what the hell a kiosk doing outside the airport in the mall. Nope, it's at McDonald's now. Like, they're always working on an angle to screw us and to keep money in their pocket. And there is no such thing as enough money. Yo, McDonald's is making billions, my G. If they McDonald's is making billions, okay? McDonald's is so big in fast food that they could never run another ad and it would not affect their bottom line. They could take their ad revenue, their ad money, and they could move it to paying their people. And not only would it not affect them, it would increase their revenue, because if they had everyone will agree with me when they hear this, if they had a fifth of the customer service that Chick-fil-A's had, they would take 80% of the market share of fast food, period. Just off the name recognition and the customer service. But they'll never do it because they'll have to give money back. And they don't have to give money back, they could care less if your burger has plastic in it. They could care less if your caramelized onions have saliva in them. They could care if your meat has rat droppings, as long as they get another $1.
Let me ask this real quick, Venkat.
Not with that diarrhea double cheeseburger they got. That junk will light your ass up, man. Since the 90s, they're on fire for the wrong reason.
Hey. Even if McDonald's had the same customer service as Chick-fil-A, which Chick-fil-A has an excellent customer service, what would the incentive be to increase profit?
They got to make a better product.
Exactly.
No, I'm saying it would. I'm saying they could. I'm saying if McDonald's got Chick-fil-A's customer service, right? or at least Publix customer service, they would box out everyone else, even with their crappy food. They would be so on. Right now, what are they like?
Because their brand is so strong. Is that because their brand is strong? That's what you mean?
Because their brand is untouchable. Yo, people act like McDonald's fries are the greatest thing on the planet. Their fries are garbage.
That's sorry.
And people are like, oh my God, it's the best thing. I just have McDonald's fries. It's just the name. It's the name and the freaking arches. People were buying Cardi B Happy Meals. But why? Why? Because it's McDonald's. Did you look at the Cardi B Happy Meal? It was a bunch of stuff from the menu. It's the same bull crap.
It's the
same. Their name is it. They could double their profits. But the amount of the thought of having people working for them making a living wage is insanity and would destroy their thought process in the white supremacist model. They could never. They'd rather it stay the way it is, and I'll take my profits and not have to share it. The thought that they would be making wealthy other people and others like myself, I'm an other. The thought that they would be making others wealthy, they will never do. That's how I know white supremacy is real. Because if I was in charge of McDonald's, the first thing I would, it's the same thing as if I was in charge of the military. The first thing I would do is stop making all these stupid programs that's wasting money just because they're there. All the people that are working at those places and they have jobs, I would take all those people who would lose their job and move them to something productive. I would take that money, move it to something productive. If I was at McDonald's, I would take that ad money and pay my people. If I was in charge of energy, I would cut all the fossil fuels and I would put all the money, all the people who work for fossil fuels, I would take them and make them the front line for electricity, make them the front line for solar. I would take the same. Nobody loses their job. These are people that already work in this sector. I would send them to school as groups. Okay, group A, you go to school and you learn this. Group B, now group A comes back, they teach. Group B, you go learn now. It's so simple. It's so layered in simplicity that it's easy to do, but they'll never do it. And the reason they'll never do it is because they'll never let others get a foothold. For them to do that, they would have to give others money and education, and they won't. If I wish you guys saw the world like I did. I really do.
I get your point, Mike, but again, that goes to my point. You saying that they could do all of this stuff, but if it's not going to incentivize McDonald's, they're not going to do it. You said move them so they can make this money. Bro, McDonald's is 24 hours. They're good.
Right.
What I'm saying is why would I exert resources in order to think that I could increase profits based off of something that I could do efficiently and make the same amount of increase in profit? That's what it's. Go ahead.
Because at the end of the day, if you say if corporations are humans, right?
Right.
Which is not true.
But that's what the law says. The law says they're humans.
That's that Mitt Romney bull crap. But go ahead.
It's what it says. If they're humans, the number one thought for a human being is the future. The number one thought for any human being is, how can I ensure my future? If you're McDonald's, you know nothing lasts forever, especially a corrupt not, I want to say government, but a corrupt ruling class. Nothing lasts forever. Everything crumbles. So why would you not want to not only empower the people that are supposed to be under you, but make it so they have loyalty to you, so that when you start to crumble, you can move over to something else that you would already have an uplink. You would already look at sodas. I told you last week there's only 2 sodas, right? Why are they making any more sodas? Because you never know. Sprite might go out of style one day and they need something else to lean on. If Big Macs go out of style one day, they could already have the next whatever the hell it's called in their family tree. And then they could just shift over to that. That's what I'm saying. I never understood how Blockbuster never bought Netflix. Yeah. Because if you look at your future, you're like, oh, that looks like us in the future. Let me get in on that. Here's a question. Does everybody know who the biggest, what's that word when you give money to people so they can do stuff? Like someone has an idea and you give them money?
Venture capital?
Loans?
Yeah, it's a loan, but it's like you're called investing.
Investing.
Do anyone know who the biggest investor, I think, in Apple was? Was it Apple or is it the other way around?
Well, Apple was losing, right? So it wasn't until Pixar was there in the picture when they kicked out Jobs, and Jobs used it as a weaponized that, and decided when he came back in, he was going to kick out everybody that was on the board of directors.
Right. You know who they were getting money from?
Microsoft.
Who's that?
From Microsoft.
Yep. Your enemies.
Microsoft was giving Apple money.
Yep. My enemies.
Because they saw the future.
They saw the future. Yep.
They saw the future. But even if I lose, my progeny wins. I can latch on to my kids' balls and still be riding. That's what it's supposed to be.
But to add to your point, though, Mike, complacency is the reason why Blockbuster never bought Netflix, because it's the same thing why I said, why is it that BlackBerry went out of style? Like BlackBerry was once upon a time the largest phone, phone in the world. Why did they sit back and watch Apple come in and not do anything? You saw the future. You knew you had patents beyond compare at that point. But the complacency is what got me. Is the same thing with Nokia. Nokia had some of the best durable phones you could ever have in your lifetime. You would have a Nokia phone for 20 years and that thing will still work. But then they stood there and they waited and they were like, okay, we're just going to watch from a side and see. But no, there's no way they're going to catch up. No, you don't know how the demographic is going to shift. And if you sit there and be complacent, then this is going to be the end result. Look at where we're at now. We have Apple, we have Samsung, we have all the other fillers in between, like the Huawei and the everybody else. Then there was Microsoft once upon a time that was in the phone segment, but then they just faded away because you can't, if you're not giving the consumers what they want, it's just not going to work. And that's what we have, the complete and
ego and arrogance.
That's the other thing, the ego and the arrogance as well.
Now you're telling me you can't see McDonald's taking that same walk? McDonald's taking that same walk? If not now, but our grandkids, somebody comes out with something. In our generation, it was Super Size Me, but somebody comes out with something, the McDonald's don't look that good. But if they were smart back in the day and they invested in their people and they pushed their people, and their people made whatever the Whole Foods equivalent of McDonald's is.
True.
And now they got a foothold in that.
But then that was...
Go ahead.
But I mean, there's always an offset though, Mike. After Super Size Me, what did all the fast food places do? They put nutritional charts on everything.
Yeah.
Right. Because
they also added salads. They also added some salads in areas that they didn't have before.
Right. Super Size Me was a bullet. I'm talking about what they're going to do when somebody comes out with a grenade launcher. When somebody comes out with a report that links chicken nuggets to cancer.
But then that means we'll have to go into health alternatives for foods, though, in the fast food industry. I don't know if they will be able to change or turn the tide that quick.
Which is what I'm saying. Yeah. They should already be implementing it. They should be starting with their own people. They should be pushing their own employees to be better, to see better, to try to be better so they can build the next round of whatever it is they want.
Yeah,
I push my daughter to be better than me.
Yeah, but these pieces of trash don't operate that way, though.
And I mean, it's always destroyed as a culture. That's why we're going to be destroyed as a culture.
These bottom feeders ain't going to be thinking like that. They just think me first, even at their own detriment. That's just what it's going to be. They don't want to do anything that could have a side effect of a positive notion to someone that's not them or directly linked to them. It's just ridiculous.
And Trevor brought up a good point in the chat where he was like, as long as you have overweight people, McDonald's will be fine. It's true. They're the target demographic that they're really going after. Those people that are consistently eating the crappy foods from McDonald's that don't take the price.
McDonald's has scientists on their payroll, and they're there to I don't know if you noticed, but like McDonald's has a distinctive smell, and it's not natural. It was manufactured for them. And then they also have things they put in there that make you crave it. So they are doing it at all angles so that you cannot stop resisting their food. It's not like a fair thing. Because, like in nature, there's nothing in nature that has a combination of sugar and salt. It's either one or the other. It doesn't come that way. People did that. And that's how you get, and that's something that latches on to us, and it just makes us crave, and that's not natural in the wild in nature. So that they know this, and we don't know this, and you wonder why you can't stop eating, and you can. They even brag about it, right? Yeah, I bet you can't eat just one chip. These commercials for these.
Yep.
I mean, they literally bragging in your face about it, and you don't get it. You don't get the game that's being played.
And let's not act like they don't make food that's good for you as expensive as possible.
They do. Absolutely. Facts on
Or
facts.
the food that you believe are good that actually isn't that great.
But why is
They
that?
push.
Why is
Huh?
that? Why is that the foods that are more healthier for us is the more costlier in terms of eating wise? That doesn't make sense, and it never
take longer to produce it. The longer the production, the higher the cost.
Hey,
Yeah, because
that's only because they subsidize corn, so
There you
they
go.
can put sugar in everything to make it cheap. You know that great Dave Chappelle joke, the greatest joke he's ever told. What the hell is juice? For years, black people ain't even know what juice was. What's juice? I'm talking about drink.
lemonade.
Look at water purple. It's great drink, baby. That's the greatest joke ever told because it's the truth up and down. I know people that never heard of juice. You want apple drink? Yeah, I got apple drink. It's green at the house. No, apple juice, man. What? People ain't know what juice was until they went to school and got free lunch. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm on my rant thing today. Y'all go ahead. My bad.
You're good. You're good.
I'm angry. That video you showed, that really ticked me off, bro.
Which one?
The whole thing, because they had the guy. I was happy at first because the guy that goes, "Come here." That guy makes me laugh. I love him, and he gives me all my little secrets.
Yeah,
he gives all the fast food secrets. I love him. But then that lady at the end, she got me thinking of. You remember the thing? I think was it in Egypt that happened in one of the in the Middle East or in the Middle East somewhere where they had like the uprising where the people stood up against.
Yeah, it was Iran.
It was Iran. And every time I think of that, I'm like, yo, I remember vividly how the police or their like security class, the people were telling them, go get them. And they were like, no, these are my people. Why would I beat my people? And every time I see that, I think of the Patrice O'Neal joke that could never happen in America because Americans can't wait to beat down somebody so they could be middle class, so they could be upper. If they were the second they start striking, all the people that feel like, oh, I was better than Denzel in high school anyway, couldn't wait to jump up to do a movie on Tubi. No disrespect to Nene and Trevor. You feel me? The people who are like, I ain't like Johnny, I ain't like Johnny back in the day who became manager of McDonald's. As soon as Johnny go on strike, Ralphie shows up. I told you Johnny wasn't nothing. It's like there's no unity in our country, bro. I know we like to say it's just black Americans, but it's not. The only unity in America is from minorities that come from other countries. That's the only unity in America.
But
white people are not unified. Black people are not unified. Italians are unified. Haitians are unified. That's it.
But why is it that people from other countries can unify, but not Americans in terms of a block? Like that doesn't make sense to me.
It makes perfect sense. Go ahead.
Because the thing about it is, if you when like I said, I always preach this. When I became a citizen, they preach this whole nonsense to you. America is the beacon of hope and blah blah blah. Yes, it is from a certain angle, but why is it that you have the Chinese that could come in and then they all like as a group of people elevate themselves, say, okay, we're going to bring 10 of us going to live in one apartment. And then from there, we're going to expand and we can do whatever we want to do. And we keep the money and distribute among ourselves and expand that way. Why is it that Americans as a group of people that are supposed to be multicultural, I don't like the melting pot idea because for me, it just sounds stupid. So I'll go multicultural here. If we're multicultural in that aspect, why is it that Americans as a whole cannot do the same thing that a immigrant or Like the Chinese, the Indians, because remember at one point I heard somebody say, "Oh, but the Indians are winning all the spelling bees." Remember when my cousin won, and she became the first, I think, non-American to win the Scripps Howard Bee Spelling Bee Championship. That was Jody Maxwell. It was because they were like, "Oh, how dare the Jamaicans come in and win the spelling bee?" Because you opened it up to us so we could come in and spell. So it was that to me again. How is it that the Americans can't do the same thing a person that comes in from another country do? Like that doesn't make sense, but we complain about it. Why?
When you say American, what do you mean by American?
Meaning,
MD.
Like,
MD about to go off.
No. I'm just asking. No, I'm trying to get.
Let me break it down.
I'm trying to get clarification. When you say American, you talking about Black Americans?
No,
or just Americans in total?
Americans, period.
As a whole, because when you become a citizen, America doesn't like the idea of you being dual. That's the one thing I noticed about this country. Other countries, in Canada says you could be a Jamaican and be Canadian. We're not going to tell you to take away the cultural aspect of yourself. You can come into my country and still be you. America does not like dual citizenship. They never did. Once you become an American, you're American. If I'm Jamaican and I become an American citizen, you're no longer a Jamaican. That's how America sees it. That's what I mean by America.
I disagree with that.
No, you got it confused. America likes you to be the dual citizen that they make you. You can't come over here and say I'm Jamaican American. You got to be Black American. You got to stick over here.
Exactly.
Where I put you.
Now that I agree with.
Yeah, you got to stick where I put you. You don't get to make your own separation. You an American, not sit in that corner.
But other countries don't do that though. That's the other
I agree.
thing. That's the point I'm trying to make here. Is there a disconnect with that? Because if when I was in Canada says to me, you can be a Canadian and you can be Jamaican. We're not going to tell you not to be. You were born in Jamaica, so why would I tell you not to be Jamaican? Once you come over, you become a Canadian citizen. Still keep your other side of yourself, but don't lose the fact that you're Canadian. In this country, they're telling you, nope, you are automatically now an American citizen. Yeah, the Jamaica, yeah, you know, and then the MDs. I hate to put you in this block, MD. Then you complain because the Jamaicans, they now they want to do their own thing over here. Now they have a Jamaican holiday, and now they have carnival over here. The reason why Jamaicans simply do that kind of thing is because, hey, we recognize cultural aspects. I see you as a Jamaican. I hear your accent. I automatically know you're Jamaican. There's no way you're gonna hide that. I could try to hide and put on my Yankee accent and go, oh, I'm South American. But the minute a Jamaican hears your accent, they know, yes, you are Jamaican. No matter how much you try to hide yourself, I know who you are. And instantly I'm going to go, yes, I am. And then they tell you, oh, don't lose yourself now. Even though you're American, don't lose yourself. You're still a Jamaican. And in my eyes, you are. So that's what I mean by...
Boy, you got to turn them
I'm chill, man. I'm chill. No, I'm just trying to get a clarification. So I'd never said I don't believe you should turn away from your cultural identifier as being whatever. I don't know where that comes from. What I'm saying is, so let me ask you a question. What do you believe a Black American's cultural identifier is? If we're going with the context of not being able to proclaim whatever nationality or cultural identifier that you may have at birth.
So that's a deep one.
Okay, I thought you may say that because it is deep. Because you can't put that on a Black American person. True. Because our cultural identifier is linked with being American. True. That's why I say that we need to find out what it is from a legislative aspect. I don't know why people think that I try to, you bring your Black ass over here, you need to act like American. I don't say that. I don't know where that comes from. What I'm saying is it's a difference politically. That's all I say. It's a difference politically from a Black American person and a Black immigrant. That don't take away from anything that you may identify with. What I'm saying is I can, and even to a certain extent, I can acclimate in your culture based on locale. But politically, we're different. That's all I'm saying. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm the hell. I'm not trying to make it seem like that.
No, I got you. I got you. You broke it down well. But do you believe we have the same strife as the same as the Black Americans have here? If you're an immigrant, like a Jamaican immigrant coming over, or a Haitian, or whatever immigrant it is, do you feel like we share the same strife that you have, or no? Because
because our equity is different from your equity. Y'all coming over here with the auspices of trying to maintain yourselves as a group. We are looking at it from the aspect of something that was supposed to be given to us equity wise that we never got. So I can't compare my strive with your strive, because your strive is simply maintaining within the country, whereas my strive would be trying to get what we supposed to got in the first hand place.
Got you. I understand what you mean.
So yeah, no, it ain't no ill will. I wasn't gonna do I wasn't gonna do no crazy stuff. All I'm saying is ethnic identifiers can't relate to whatever ethnic identifier that we have, because we day one citizens in the country.
Got you.
I can.
But to argue your point though, MD, what would you say because if you were gonna say that, then do you not identify the fact that the Haitians were able to come in to help with the American Revolution at that point when they came in and assisted? So do you don't think they identify with the strife that you have? Because if it wasn't for their help, most of the contribution of the revolution would not have happened to then bring us to where we're at. So then I'm trying to understand, it's because then that's a problem, because that's an argument that I hear a lot from Africans, the actual people from the continent Africa. They can't identify with Americans because they feel Black Americans are a little bit weird to them. They're a little bit strange. They're a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, they're so out of context. There's no way that they identify with the struggle of the continental African brothers compared to what they're seeing. So I'm like, is there a disconnect there? Because you're saying that you wouldn't be able to, we won't be able to relate to the strife that you have. So then when are the Black Americans here gonna rise up and then say, okay, what is owed to us? Because if the Japanese were able to get reparations, if so-and-so was able to get so-and-so, why is it that we, the people that originally was owed the partial amount of lands or whatnot, when are we gonna get what's due to us? Maybe at that point, then everybody can go, okay, well, this is it. Because then now I feel like when reparations comes into play, the Black Americans going to say, oh, no, not the Jamaicans. Oh, no, not the Haitians. Oh, no, not they weren't a part of
That's
us.
exactly what's going to happen.
No, hold on, wait a minute. So wait a minute. You're trying to say that within the struggle of us getting to what's owed to us, we then have to come, we have to become the beacon for y'all?
No.
Is that what?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
And stop lying on me, Trevor. I ain't say that we can't identify with each other's struggle.
You know, Trevor's gonna troll you, but no. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, when at that point at what point in time are the actual Black Americans here gonna say, okay, what is owed to us is owed to us? Like the land that Lincoln promised us when we did the whole fight and blah, blah, blah. When are we going to say, when are you guys going to say, well, reparations wise, this is what we want, this is what we need, this is what is owed to us. And then you take that champion battle and then go there with that cause. But then, you know, at that point, when once you guys get what you want, then is it okay for us to then be all aligned together, or you just feel like you guys should just fight for that cause and then it's just strictly for that reason, and then we can all come together and be like, okay, we're all in this together, blah, 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 blah. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, I see what you're saying. So we are actually doing just what you said. I mean, the California Reparations Task Force proved it. Yep. We're going off a lineage-based reparation resolve, not race. And it's, again, I continue to say, the issue of reparations ain't got nothing to do with race. It's all about lineage.
Got you.
So the California Reparations Task Force is actually doing that. If you go back, you can go back all the way to the affirmative action ruling. And the affirmative action ruling pretty much says the same thing. You can't do anything based off of race. It has to go off to the harms of a specific people. People got mad when I said that. They didn't understand it, went totally over their head. But I get what you're saying. Now,
what about what he's saying? What about what Trevor's saying now in the comment?
That's absolutely what MD is saying. Our Jamaican ass can't have none of them. No, you can't. Your Jamaican ass can't have none of my reparations. But hey, look.
Why?
But look, do you know what CARICOM is? I can't have none of CARICOM reparations. So it go both ways.
You know what?
I'm saying we should be exchanging notes to figure out what the issue is from your lineage versus my lineage and get what's sold. Then we can come together in a Pan-African movement and get things done based off the assets that we now have occurred. That's all I'm saying.
My dream is that you guys get your reparations.
Exactly.
And then you help the other people who never got their reparations, starting with Haiti, to get their money back from France.
I agree with that. I agree with that. But like I said, we got to get our issues together first. We can't get out of the mindset of black. That's one of our major stumbling blocks. Black is not going to help the situation for any of us. I'm telling you that right now. It's just not going to happen. Especially how the United States Constitution is built. What helped get you out of slavery in the first place via the 14th Amendment, which clearly says that you cannot discriminate upon somebody based off of race. Now, again, to Mike's point, you got your quote unquote white supremacists that's going to try to loophole it and finagle it to their advantage. It's up to us to identify that and put together a piece of legislation that's going to be able to defend that. That's all I'm saying.
But all I'm saying is I hope you guys make sure you put in there that you have to have lived as a black person to keep that part in there. You have to live as because there will be people who have been white for 19 generations say, I got 2 specks of Negro in me. I'm going to need that $1 million. And if they get money, I'm burning your whole stuff down.
It's so true.
Let me do this. If it's a quote unquote white person, what we will say today, that his lineage started from a slave plantation, does he not deserve reparation? I don't give a damn what he been doing. Does he not deserve?
Guess what? If you say that, then white people can come back and say, well, all of you light skins, you all came from slave masters. So why don't we take from you to give to the darks instead of taking from the government? Let's take from what you've done, because your lineage leads to pain.
The point of
we got Trevor again with another comment.
Oh, that's a fact. Oh, that's a big fact. MD's gonna be the only one who's like, all right, let's work for these Haitians, and everybody's gonna be like, I just bought a Newport truck. That's a fact.
I already told you, Trevor. When reparations come, I don't give a damn what you do with your money. That, as an American, you can do what you want.
Man, it would break my heart if niggas is riding around on rims. It would break my soul.
Would be disparaging though.
If we did anything other than buy a state, it would break my heart.
We gotta invest properly. I'm sorry.
Investing. Buy Georgia.
Or buy land in general.
No, I ain't talking about buy Georgia.
But what
the entire state of Georgia? Buy it.
You're not gonna allow that though. You know that.
You can't stop it. Hey, they said you remember how black people was like this? They ain't coming to my neighborhood and buying it up. Guess what they did?
True.
Okay, so start with a town. We're gonna buy this town. All right, we own this town. We're gonna buy this town. We're gonna incorporate it. Now these 2 towns are under this jurisdiction. We're gonna buy this town. Start just like that. They can't stop that.
But you know what they're
gonna legal tender.
But you know what they're gonna say though, Mike? They're gonna be like, "Oh no, the black people are all coming together now." Like in Georgia, we can't.
That's why you pay white people to be the face of it. It's called Keep Those Darkies Down Incorporated.
That's why you pay white people?
Yes, I have 2 white people who are the front runners of. You never saw that movie where the guy was the banker and he wanted to buy the bank because the bank wouldn't give him a loan, so he got rich and he had the white guy stand up and do all the stuff for him until they found out it was him. That's what we doing. I'm gonna have a white man buy Georgia, and his name's gonna be my name, but they ain't gonna know that he's not me. He gonna walk around. Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Others. Good afternoon. My name is Others. Hello, how you doing? I'm Others. And then when it all come to fruition, I'm gonna walk out with a shirt that say "I'm Others, biatch," and it's gonna be fire.
Yeah, but like you know me, if I was to envision anything, if reparations was to happen, I mean it'll obviously be an entrepreneurial boom. Like I said, I don't know when the last time y'all been like to Atlanta. The stuff that y'all saying is going on like right now. You know what I mean? Like It's nowhere that you could go in Georgia without seeing black people in high positions of power.
You've been in Buckhead too long, boy. Get out there and go over to Athens and see what it look like.
Hey, go to Athens. You'll see black people on the city board there.
Man, you see black people still digging up their front lawn.
You got incorporated cities right now in Georgia that black people have established. South Fulton, Stonecrest, all around Atlanta. Like these is black folk. So I think because of black land. But what I'm saying is I grew up born and raised in black land. I've already seen it. I know, and with the black land, I've seen the corruption of the Negroes in black land. I've seen the triumph. I've seen the history. I've seen the Black American culture. I've seen all this stuff. What I'm saying is we are built as black Americans to sustain ourselves individually in the country. You may not see it that way based on how your demographic came up, how you came up. I'm not taking that away from you. What I'm saying is I see the mountaintop, as MLK said, but I don't see it from a group aspect. I can see it from an individual aspect based off of where I grew up and where other places in black America, Jackson, Mississippi, Birmingham, Alabama, these are black cities.
Can I ask
they
you
already
one question?
black.
Can I ask you one question?
Go ahead.
I'm going to shut up about all this.
Go ahead.
So say you build it up and individualistic and you do it yourself, right?
Okay.
And then some white man come and take it.
How's he gonna take it? Why? How? You got to explain how.
He got a militia. He got a militia of whites, and they don't like.
Oh wow! So
okay.
He got you.
He come and take your stuff.
Country. So
what you gonna do?
I'm saying that's not possible in 2023.
You think it's not possible?
I don't.
My G, I will tell you to. I don't remember the site, but to look online, and you'll see there's a bunch of blanketed treetop places and sections in Montana, sections in the South that are covered in tarps that are white people are being trained like the Mujahideen, and they are coming to take your stuff. They've been doing it.
So you believe in the race war is what you're saying?
I'm not talking about a race war. I'm talking about white supremacy moving on to the next level of their white supremacy. If you want to call it a race war, cool. I'm saying white people, white supremacy has always had two faces. They've had the political aspect, and when the political aspect starts to fail and the black people start to get their rights, they switch right over to them hoods.
You know what's funny though is how the white supremacist groups that we see, the rise of all these new groups and old groups, the KKK, they're there and nothing major is happening. The FBI isn't coming after them in a major way like they did the Panthers. J. Edgar Hoover, number one goal, it's like the Panthers are the number one threat in the community. And it's just crazy how, with the crimes and the killings and all the things that they've been doing, that they're not getting nearly as much as what the Panthers got in the 70s. And it's just crazy.
Because them
niggas was trying to give away free lunch. How dare they?
All right, so we want to get to the final video, which is the nightcap video. We'll comment on that video before we go there. Just wanted to let everyone know about episode 3, and that'll be next week. And episode 3 will be Joe Blunder.
Oh, Lord.
Jackass Joe's attack on progress. So now we're going to bring Joe Biden up on the stage, and we're going to have a little debate there.
Hey, and my bingo card is going to say MD and the 94 crime bill.
You already know.
And then 2 weeks from that, we're going to actually do something that Trevor wanted to get into, and I do as well, and I think is much needed, and that'll be Trump versus Obama. We'll go into politics.
It goes bad. Blame it on Trevor.
Yeah. So we'll go into the politics and break down both administrations and the policies and whatnot, and we'll see who was better. Any final words on the reparations or any other thing that we've just covered momentarily?
Dear Black women, if y'all get reparations, I'm putting the full court press to pull one of y'all. So go ahead and save your checks now.
Yeah. You better get you one now, like Trevor did.
Hey,
You
I
better
tried,
get
bro. You see, I tried to get Juju, but Juju only show up every 2 weeks.
Oh, Juju ain't Black American. Juju,
That's right.
African and
She
something.
African. Well, all the good ones are taken. All the good ones I know are taken.
You might can still get it. You know they good at scamming and stuff. Go and get her now and put her on the telephone.
That's racist.
Yeah, get her a landline.
That is racist, sir. We don't know if she's Nigerian or not.
Hey, West African, it don't matter.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I just want to answer like with what Nini's saying, these titles. Yeah, I do it on purpose, the titles, because Take Fist Politics is kind of in the nature of Donald Trump and this environment that we have right now, where it's very slapsticky, very mean, very, it's just way different than what politics used to be maybe 30, 40 years ago. And now you could curse, you could say demeaning things, or say bad things, disparaging things about a person's family, and it's all good. And you could go to jail and be the top vote getter in your party.
And grab
so that's the nature and the spirit of the Take Fist Politics. And Trump always has a weird ass name for all his rivals and people he goes up against. So I figured it would be cool to kind of do it in that spirit. And then every jackass that I highlight, I give him a crazy name to go.
Man, you just ruined it. I had a really good joke, but I can't say it now because it's about somebody's family that's in here. But it was hilarious. It was hilarious.
Oh, come on. It was hilarious.
I gotta ask her permission if she'll let me say it, but it was funny. It was just like I was gonna be like, well, if I can't get them, I'll link up with this lady. But nah, I ain't gonna do it because it was funny. But I'll tell her personal. I'll tell her inbox to inbox.
All right, so let's get ready for the final video of the night, as we call the nightcap video.
I no longer believe in the third party movement. And I'll tell you why. The Democrats and Republicans have corrupted the system so badly that any third party in which to survive will have to corrupt itself. Well, you've already got a two-headed monster. Why would you want a three-headed one? I now advocate the abolishment of all political parties in the United States of America, turn them into political action committees, which is what they are anyway. Certainly they can endorse, but end it there. And on every ballot in the United States of America, here's a simple thing we can do. Remove the party designation and put down only the name. It's too simple. The system's set up for it. If you're conservative, you don't need to know anybody's name. You look for the party. Republican, Republican, Republican. If you're liberal, you don't need to know a name. Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. By only putting down the name would then require you as a voter to educate yourself. What does John Smith stand for? Because you wouldn't have that crutch in there that would tell you conservative or Democrat. And then there's one, and you in California can get away with this stuff because you got that nonsense where you can put everything on the ballot, you know. The next thing would be simply this. How about on every state, local, and national ballot, we offer the final choice at the bottom that you can vote for none of the above. Now, people laugh at that, but what that truly is a vote of no confidence in government. That could do volumes, huge. Because imagine for a moment, let's say I'm a Democrat, and I defeated my Republican opponent for Congress, but I lost to none of the above. more people cast their vote for none of the above than what I got. Wouldn't that make them go out there with a change of attitude? You lost to nobody. Yes, you're the congressman or the congresswoman, but you lost to none of the above. And I'm willing to bet right now there are elections in this country where none of the above would prevail. And what's wrong with that? A vote of no confidence. That would send a huge message, huge, to every elected official.
All right, everyone on the panel, what do we think about what Jesse the Body just described about the political process and a few unique changes that could potentially make it better? We'll start with MD.
Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, I have to disagree, and here's why. The reason I say don't get rid of the parties is because everybody in the country identifies with a sense of either morality, an economic standing, a social position, whatever it may be. As me as an independent voter, I base my vote off of liberty. Like that, I'm a constitutionalist. That's what I am at the end of the day. When we started it last week, and I was saying, you know, I lean more toward libertarian, and then Ricardo kind of chuckled at that. That's the reason being. Now, from a sense of liberty, I can then break away and say, okay, hey, look, this is what I look at with this candidate, whether it be Democrat or Republican versus the other candidate, Democrat or Republican. Because I mean, let's be honest, ain't no libertarian candidate got enough of a foothold from a lobbyist standpoint to make any noise. You know, you got Cato Institute, stuff like that, but that ain't gonna do much. The identifier tells me who I am as it relates to a party. It don't tell me as an individual. So when we talk about parties within an election, it's easier for me to identify what's what based on the party. I don't think if you don't have a party system, it'll kind of, I guess, cloud or fluster a lot of the standard voters in the country. That's my opinion.
But MD, don't you think that you will have your identifying qualities that you vote for politically, even without the the political party, right? It would be like being a highly religious or spiritual person, but you don't go to church. You don't need the church to give you your spiritual and your God-fearing notions or whatever. You'll still have it within you. You'll still practice it on your own. You just didn't need that crowd to be around. You know what your values are and how you're going to vote, essentially. So
yeah, I agree with that. But what about the candidates as far as clashing their position? How you going to do that? You going to have one big debate?
Well, what it would be, yeah, probably would be one big debate. But yeah, what it would be is that the party will be there just to help, nominate or endorse, I should say, and it'll be there to promote something, whatever their views are or policies are. But that's where Jesse Ventura was saying it would stop there. So all the funding of the people that run, the candidates, all that stuff and all those activities behind the scenes that the parties usually do, that would stop.
Okay,
that's
so who's going to endorse the debate? Well, who's going to fund it?
Well, that could be hashed out later. That could be hashed out later. But I mean, I think it's good because from the population perspective, right? It is very true. People are just like, okay, let me get the Republican. You don't even know who Harry Smith Asslicker is. You just know Harry Smith Asslicker is a Republican.
GOP.
And damn it, that's my team.
Yep.
You know,
well, if that's what you're doing, you got a separate issue if that's what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? But I get
But a
your
lot of
point.
people do that. A lot of people do that.
You're right. We just talked about Trump, didn't we?
Oh yeah. Oh
You're
yeah.
right.
Oh yeah. So that's one way he's looking to kind of quill that and force the voting population to learn more and understand more about who they're voting for and what their policies really impact them with. I think right now it's very lazy, you know.
First,
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead, Mike.
So I have 4 points. The first two I can make in a couple seconds. First thing, MD, you are my second favorite natural dissenter after myself.
I got you.
You can't stand anything, and I love it. Secondly, if I ever make my own show, which I probably never will because I'm lazy and I have ADHD, Venkat's doing all my stuff because that TFP was hard. That was fire. I was like, what? I never saw that. That was hard. That was fire. All right, so now on to the points that actually take a little bit of time. And actually, no, this one won't take that much time. Dear Ventura, how dare you steal that? None of the above from Brewster's Millions. That's Richard Pryor's movie. How dare you? I was alive and I saw it.
Oh, that's right. That's so true.
You stole it, sir. Don't
that
you
is
dare
so true.
steal it from the black man. I know what that was.
Oh my God.
That was Brewster's Millions. I see that movie about 20 times. Cut that out.
Classic
movie. All right, now on to my serious part. All right, I got 3 of them out the way in less than a minute. I'm doing really well. I can shut up quick so Ricardo could go. We can make this under 2.5. You guys seem to think we live in a world where simple moves will have simple results. That's not the way it works. When Obama was like, hey, we're going to put cameras on all police officers. You know, it's the first thing I said. And my mother was there. She'll tell you. You know, it was the first thing I said when I heard it on the news the first time? There better not be an on and off button. It's the first thing I said. And of course,
but they got to go to the bathroom, Mike.
Yeah. Guess what? If you got to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom. Just look up. Easy peasy. We're all adults. We've had parents in nursing homes. We've had children. We've heard tinkle. We'll be all right. The fact that it has a mute button and the on and off button, I knew it was going to be criminal times are rising just as normal. And it's the same thing with this. The second you take away, okay, we're going to take away the party names. Guess what? The party's just going to start saying, hey, you rock with the GOP, and that's me. And then you just wait for a person to get on TV to say the same jargon, same nonsense. And then you know, oh, GOP, and that's me. Okay, that's the guy. Write his name down. Okay, cool. That's all it's going to be. Did you not live through the Ronald Reagan era? Didn't you live through what's his name? God, that guy who used to work for Bush. They call him Ham. Damn it.
Ham.
No, they make Colbert used to call him Ham because his face looks like a ham. It looks like one of those canned hams. All right, what it don't matter. But all they do is make up evil changes.
Cheney?
No, Dick Cheney's the devil.
Rumsfeld?
Yes, Rumsfeld. Thank you.
Oh, Rumsfeld.
You
yeah.
know your evil whites, boy. You go ahead. Dude, Rumsfeld's. Oh my God, he looks like
Darth Vader. Cheney.
Nah, Cheney's the devil. I'll tell you why.
Darth Vader.
I'll tell you why. I saw a demon in his eyes. I promise to God. So, I'm dead serious.
Rumsfeld was a libertarian back in the day.
Yeah, way back before the money got to him. So they're just gonna make up. They create any little nuance, or they'll just have a person on Fox News a couple extra times. If you get rid of the parties, they'll just have people wearing little GOP stamps, or they'll get a little, I don't know, put on rings that have G on them, or get the old My Adidas Run DMC rings that say GOP and everybody wears them. They're gonna find ways around it. So no matter what you change the party name, unless we have 4 to 6 or even 8 parties that are equally powered that have their own agendas, it's never gonna work. It's been bought and sold. It's been bought and sold. So it sounds wonderful, and I feel Jesse. Jesse's my dog. Just because he hates Hogan, that's all I need to be friends. That's one of the few things in life. If you can't stand Hogan, or if you love Fifth Element and Serenity, we automatically homies. But It's that nothing's going. This is entrenched white supremacy. It'll never, ever stop. And that's why I'm a fatalist, and I'm sorry. You go, Ricardo. I'll shut up now.
All right, Ricardo.
Mike took all of my talking points that I
That's
wanted.
why I hate going last. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Really took all of my points. But I agree with him. In the real world, what Jesse said sounds good on paper, but in reality it would never work, because like Mike said, there's a whole bunch of context that goes into this, and I just don't see happening with the way this country's set up, and with white supremacy and everything else. I just don't see it happening. It just would not make sense. Political, as we call it, identity politics will always be there. It's just one of them things that has been a staple in this country, and I just don't see it changing. I doubt it very much. The other thing I wanted to add to this too, man, Andy said it earlier, but I wanted to reiterate a point. The evangelicals, my problem has always been them as well. I just, for whatever the reason, I can't stand that group of people. They infuriate me when it comes to election time, because they always want to preach to the choir and all this nonsense that you do, and yet you still pick someone that's not politically sound mind, and it infuriates me. You want to preach gospel and all this crap, but then this guy literally was the most vile person that you could ever chose, and you all think he's a savior, and I'm just trying to reconcile how that's possible. Maybe in time I might be able to figure it out or make sense of it, but
it'll never make sense.
Never makes sense to me. I'm sorry, the evangelical group just makes no sense to me. But yet they're so powerful as a group. It baffles me. But like Mike says, the white supremacy group, I want to add the evangelicals to the mix. All of that in one context, it just would never work. So what Jesse says sounds good on paper. I want to commend him for putting it out there, but in real world, nah, it would never work. It would never work.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank my panel, the most dangerous panel on politics, the great MD, the mighty Mike.
Yep.
King Others.
And Ricardo. Like to appreciate everybody that came in the chat. And again, next week, we're going to have Joe Blunder, I'm sorry. Joe Blunder.
Uncle
and,
Joe.
What's up, Ricardo?
No, I said they call him Uncle Joe. I don't know why.
Because he's so old.
You know why? You know why they call him.
He's everybody's uncle. He's so old.
Can I say, it'll take me less than a minute.
Go ahead.
If anybody has time, go on YouTube, look up, what's that guy named? The vice president that you just said?
Oh, Cheney, yeah.
Look up Cheney. It was Cheney versus, I think, a guy who was running against the guy who went up against Bush the first time. It was a VP debate. And the guy said something to him. He was like, oh, I just want to, thank, because, I heard about your daughter and she's a lesbian. And I just want to congratulate her on being able to come out and being proud. And he said that to Cheney's face. And Cheney looked at this man and there was Satan in his eyeballs.
Satan in his eyeballs.
There was Satan in his eyeballs. Like, I'm going to get you when no one is watching. And I've never heard of the guy. I can't even remember his name now. That's how it was vicious. Go look it up if you ever want to see it.
Cheney shot a guy in the face, and then he had the guy apologize to him, right?
Oh, yeah. And he didn't even hate that guy. That was his friend.
No, he didn't hate him at all.
That was his buddy Scooter.
Yeah, Lord.
This guy's somewhere hanging in a basement somewhere, I promise you.
A real life Darth Vader, man.
Yes, sir. That Satan is in his iris.
All right. So we'll wrap up the show now. Any departing words, real quick, 10 seconds, 20 seconds.
No, I'm looking forward to the next one. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one. I'm interested to see how you're gonna put that whole Joe Biden thing together. I want to see that.
All right. Cool. Mike?
Luckily for me, I hate everybody equally, except for Trump. I hate him a little more. So I'm going to hate Biden just as much.
Ricardo?
Nothing else to add, but just that I'm excited to see how the show progresses, and we'll just go from there. Free MD20.
Let the Eagles fly.
Keep the movement alive. Free MD20. It's a very important trend we got going. We're gonna keep that alive.
If you haven't seen Brewster's Millions, go watch it. It's awesome.
All right. So for all my co-hosts on the panel, we appreciate you guys for watching. We'll see you next week. We're keeping TFP going. And I would like to say a special shout out to Tequila and everyone else in the chat. Till next week, we'll see y'all. Thank you. Good night.